Welcome to version 24.48. Sales. Sales order report enhanced. So previously, OurSys did not have option to filter the amendment order report. User could see all the report together, but there was no way to sort or search for a specific ones based on the particular criteria. Now, OurSys have a new filter that help user to quickly find the amended orders. This make it easier and faster to search the specific changes or the update made to the sales order. So with the help of the image, let's see. In the search order search button, we have now added a new radio button called under amendment. By selecting these under amendment provision, user can access all the reports which are under draft mode. Inquiry bomb enhanced. So previously when user received a new inquiry for a product similar to which they have already worked upon, but they could not copy the bill of material from previous inquiry. Instead, they have to manually create a bill of material again for every line item of the inquiry, which was very time consuming. Now, we have now allowed user to quickly copy the bill of material from existing inquiry, which makes it easier for the user to create a bill of material and they don't have to make the bill of material right from the scratch. So in the inquiry quotation screen, here you can see we have a provision of POM. Now here we have made it a new change called copy from inquiry, where you can copy the line item bomb from previous inquiry and system will automatically pick the component with the quantity that you have updated in your previous inquiry. Cost estimation sheet enhanced. So in the last version, OurSys had the setup time cost was calculated based on just one item, even if you are producing a whole batch. Now this was an incorrect method to estimate a total cost, since the setup time is usually shared across all the line item that we are manufacturing in a batch. So to tackle this, we have now given a provision to specify the batch size while making the production. This means the setup cost will evenly distribute across all the item in the batch, making the cost of the item more accurate and helping the management in calculating the cost. So here you can see in the item master we have provision to update the batch size over here, economic batch size. Now while making a cost estimation sheet, we have now considered this setup quantity over here. This makes it more easier and give precise costing. Attribute feature in lead module. So previously, if a user have to define his or her own basically fields in the lead generation page, then they didn't have any feature to add those fields and store the important data. So now we have given provision where user can create their own customized field in the lead module. This means they can now enter their important information in the lead generation screen, and system will also show that information in the report of the lead. So here in the screen we can see under the master module we have given provision to create a lead attribute where you can create your own leads. It can be basically a text box or a date or a drop down or a multi selection drop down. So user can create their attribute based on their need. And in the sales module we can see I'm generating a new lead. Here I can update my additional information that is required. copying previous transporter detail in sales order generation page. So previously, whenever user need to create a sales order or an invoice, they have to spend their time to searching the past record to find the detail of the transporter that they have updated in the previous generated sales order. So this was a very time consuming task. To tackle that, now we have given provision to automatically capture the transporter detail like shipping company detail, delivery information from your previous sales order. So this means user don't have to enter manually detail every time which they are creating. System automatically will save the data and their time. So here you can see in the sales order we have provision of copying where you can directly copy a already generated document. Here you can see in this already generated document, I have updated the transporter detail. While copying, a new document will come under a node generation screen where you can see the transporter detail will come. Dashboard of inquiry not quoted. So previously, if a quotation was updated or made any change but didn't have approved yet, still, user won't be able to find that document. This means they have to manually search the report again to find the document. To make it easier, we have now created a provision. We have now made a dashboard where system will showcase them that these are the number of document or the quotation that are still under amendment screen. Here you can see we have a clickable dashboard now. And after clicking on that number, system will redirect you to the number of quotation that are still under node generation or under amendment screen. Purchase order report enhanced. The detailed report enhanced. So previously, OurSys did not have a way for the user to easily find any purchase order that has been changed or updated but are that are still under the draft mode. So in this version, OurSys has now introduced a new filter called Amendment Purchase Order, which let user to get the report or get a list of purchase order which are still under draft mode or under amendment mode, making it easier for them to filter this report. So with the help of image, let us understand. In the purchase module under the purchase order search, we have a new radio button called under amendment. Here, system will redirect you to the list of number of purchase order that are still under draft mode. All purchase order GST can apply to all item in one go. So before when user need to add so user had to manually add the purchase order GST for each line item manually. So it was a very time consuming task and it take a lot of effort if there are multiple item in a purchase order or a sales order. So now what we have done is we have given provision to update the GST number of multiple item in one go, making it easier and time saver for the users. So here you can see in the purchase order on the heading of the label called GST and SGST, here you have option to update the GST number, and when you select the checkbox against the align item, system will automatically update the GST number against that item. Labor purchase order print enhanced. So earlier when printing a labor purchase order in overseas, the drawing number for each line item was not included. Because of this, supplier might not know against which drawing they have to use, leading it to mistake. They could use the wrong drawing. This which could result in production incorrect in production. So now we have a provision where while printing the purchase order, our sys will directly pick the drawing number from the item master, and it will pick that into the print. So this will help user to quickly find the reference of the drawing number and making the process more cleaner and more efficient. Here in the in the purchase module under the purchase order label print, I am taking a print over here, and you can see the drawing number reference comes on my purchase order print. Restriction on change of schedule date in purchase order after the GRN is completed. Okay, so previously there was a provision, or we didn't put a restriction where if the material has been received against a purchase order, okay, still the purchase officer can change the delivery date of the material in the purchase order schedule. So this cost this can cause a incorrection in our supplier performance report. To tackle that, we have now made a restriction. Once the material has been received, once the material has been received, user won't be able to change the purchase order schedule content purchase order schedule date, which will not affect in their supplier performance report. So here you can see there is an open purchase order over here against which I have received all quantity that has been scheduled in my purchase. Now, if I go on the manage schedule of the same PO, system won't allow me to change the schedule date over here. Purchase order detail report enhanced. So, in this report, we have now included a table where you will be able to see the total of quantities of the product based on their unit of measurement. So, this helps the purchase officer to clearly see the exact quantity based on the different unit of measurements. So here you can see in the purchase module we have a report called purchase order detail report. In this report we have now added a section where you can see unit of measurement wise summary. While copying purchase order, terms of purchase order should also get copied. So previously when user used to copy any purchase order from the system, then the terms and condition that mentioned in the purchase order terms wouldn't get copied automatically. This means user have to manually enter all the data, all the terms that they have updated in the previous purchase order. So this was very time consuming task. For that, we have now made a provision where system will automatically copy the purchase order term from which you are copying the detail, making it more easier and time effort task. Here you can see in the purchase order where you have the provision to copy the purchase order. Already generated document can be copied. Now, while copying, system will also copy the terms that that has been updated in the purchase order document. Attribute option introduced in the ASN feature to capture the additional field required. So in the past, when the supplier create any advance shipment notice, there were situation where additional information need to be recorded, but we didn't have provision to add the additional field to capture those datas. So now we have added a provision where you can create your own additional fields in the ASN master, and your vendor can update that detail in the ASN. So this will help you to keep the record of the additional information as well as searching, making it more accurate during the shipment process. So here you can see under the master, we have a link called advanced shipment notice attribute, where you can create your own additional field and assign the right to the to which vendor it can be editable. That provision is also there. And when the vendor is making the advance shipment notice to you, he or she can update that additional data over here, and it will also be reflecting in your report as well. Attribute feature in receiving. So similar to the advance shipment notice, while making a goods receipt note in our organization, okay, if a user want to put some additional information, so we didn't have provision, user have to every time put a comment in the document. So now we have given the provision to update, to create a new fields in the receiving, and your storekeeper can update the additional detail that has been received during the material receiving entry. So here you can see under the master we have a link called receiving GRN attribute, where you can create your own fields, and while making a GRN entry, storekeeper can update that detail and keep a record of that detail. And of course, if you take any report from the GRN, system will show that data in the report as well. Internal rejection handling report introduced. So before, if a user wanted to see internal rejection internal rejection report, then it was not possible as we didn't have any report in the system to take out. For now, we have introduced a reporting option over here, where user can able to view the number of transaction that has been made under the internal rejection handling, whether it can be rework, it could be a scrap, or it could be a salvage. So system will give you a data that what are the number of job orders that have went on these process. So here you can see we have now given a search bar over here where user can take the report. And we have also given a multiple provision where you can take the action, whether you want to see internal reaction either by rework or salvage or scrap. So that can be filtered out. And here report comes. Production schedule report. So previously a new report was added to OurSys for user who uses the production schedule feature in the system. Now, this report helps user to track and manage their production schedule, making it easier for them to keep a track on the progress and to maintain a detailed plan of their production activities. So here you can see under the machine master, we have a provision where you can define the shifts, manufacturing shifts on which the machine is working. And while making the production schedule, you can define the time against the machine, that what will be the time my machine will be working on the job. And if I see the machine wise production schedule, then system will accurately give me a data that okay, this is my cutting machine and this has been occupied by 8 hours, 2 hours, respective to time will be given to the production planner. Multiple event production is enhanced. So before, there wasn't a direct way to enter the quantity of a rejected item that was reworked in multiple event production transaction. So user have to manually enter the rejected information into our standard daily production report. So this was a very time consuming task. Every user have to define that he had to perform the transaction twice. So now, to make it easier, we have now given a provision where user can directly update the reworkable rejected quantity in the multiple event daily production screen. So here you can see we have a provision where multiple job order daily production transaction can be tagged in one go. Now it also covers a separate field called reworkable rejected quantity. So now user have not go to the standard daily production data capturing to mention the rejectable rework quantity. Daily production entry validation added to ensure that production data is not easier earlier to the job order date. So previously, if a user updated the daily production entry date before the job order date, then system was not restricting him or her to make the daily production entry. Now we have added a restriction. So if a user tries to make a daily production entry before the job order document creation date, then system won't allow him to make a daily production entry over here. So in this screen, you can see this is one of the job order where I have created the date of job order creation is of 7th of December. Now I am making a daily production entry where I have kept the daily date of production date before the date of job order, that is of 6th of December. Now here you can see system is giving me a warning that production date cannot be less than job order date. So it won't confuse while making audit where there was a confusion that job order has been created on 7th but daily production has been done before that. Now this confusion won't happen. Opening closing of job order feature has been enhanced. So earlier user could open or close the job order in OurSys whenever they wanted, which means the costing of the job order used to change after the initial calculation. This flexibility created problem during the audits because the audit team need a cost that stayed the earlier after it was submitted without a free without a way to freeze the cost. Audit team couldn't trust the original figures. So we have now introduced a provision where you can freeze the job order date, and based on that day system won't allow you to open or close the job order before the freeze date. So here you can see under the master we have a link called freeze job order date where I have defined that 9th of December is my job freeze date. Now if I go in the stores module to open and close the job order, system won't allow me to open the job order which has already been closed before the 9th of December. That is my job order freeze date. Provision to mention the reason for closing a job order. So earlier in stores module, user couldn't explain why they want to close a job order manually using the job order open close option. So this created confusion between the team as there was no clear reason or a record to check why this job order was closed. So now we have introduced a provision where user can give the reason while closing the job order. So this make it easier to understand why the order was closed and help to keep a clear record which can be useful for the future reference as well. So here you can see while opening or closing the job order, we have now given an additional column called reason where user can update their job order opening and closing reason. job order history is enhanced. So the job order history in OurSys is now simpler to use. You can easily collapse the section that you want to hide and expand only the one that you want to see. So this make it easier and quicker to find the information that you are looking into. So that provision has now been implemented. You can simply collapse or expand the detail that you want to see. So here in the screen you can see we have a job order history report where we have now divided the report into section. Material issue section is there, summary section is there, rework process detail section are there. So user can simply expand and collapse the data that they want to see. MRN search report is enhanced. So previously, user couldn't search or sort the material request node by the remark field. So this make it easier if harder for them to find the entries that has been specified in the comment or notes. So we have now made a provision. We have now added a filter provision in the material request node report where you can search the MRN by their remark. So here you can see in the production module in the search of material request node, we have now given a additional column or a section called remark where you can search your MRN by the remark also. Physical lot registration under quality module enhance. So before, when multiple source lots were treated together in one heat treatment event, then user had to enter the detail of each and every lot individually, which took a lot of time and efforts. For example, if I take a several lots were placed in a furnace together, user has to register each lot separately in the system, making the process slower and tedious. So now OurSys make it easier for user to register the several physical lot at the same time instead of doing it one by one. This feature will save certainly a good amount of time and making the process more efficient. So here you can see in the quality module multiple physical lot registration. Here you can see I'm registering a lot and we have a provision over here to update the lot detail in one go. So here you can see a similar data will automatically get updated into my next lot. IRN generation is restricted as per the role of user. Okay. So previously OurSys did not have a way to limit a user to generate the IRN. So basically if I have a invoice right, then I can easily generate IRN if even if I don't have a right to make it. So now only user with the permission to generate the IRN can create the IRN in the system. So this ensures that only the authorized person can perform the action. So here you can see in the master we have a GST API credential where you can define who is allowed to generate the IRN and the EV bill accordingly and who has the right to cancel the IRN and EV bill. Validation in invoice for GST rate introduced based on HSN. So, when creating a invoicing system, if you assign the same HSN code to different item but set different GST rate for them, then system will show a warning. This happens because tax rule says that one HSN could be linked to only one GST rate. If you use the same HSN code for another item with different GST rate, it can cause confusion and lead to tax problem. So now this so now the system helps you by giving you the warning about this mistake, and you can fix it before finalizing the invoice. So we have made a provision where if a single HSN has the multiple GST updated at the invoice date, OurSys will give you a warning to avoid the mistake. So here you can see in the invoice module, in the tax invoice screen, here I have a same HSN code, but I have updated the different GST number for different item code. And now system is giving me a warning that the marked item has same HSN but the different GST number. In the above item I have updated the 6%, and in the below item I have updated the 9%. Even the HSN are same. Invoicing without GST mention against a particular item. So system now checks if the GST rate is missing from an invoice. If it is missing, then system will show an alert to the user so they can update the necessary GST to to the invoice item. So we now directly give a warning to the user so they can update the GST at the invoice screen itself. So here you can see in the invoice module in the search of the tax invoice. Here you can see I have not updated the GST detail against the line item. So system is directly giving me a warning that GST has not been applied to item or additional charges. Invoice creation is enhanced. So before, when there was one sales invoice with item from different sales order, it was difficult to figure out which item on the invoice belongs to which sales order. So this caused confusion, especially if you needed to check or review the detail of a specific sales order. So now in OurSys, when you create a sales invoice, the system now displays the sales order number next to each item. So this makes it easier for the user to identify, okay, so this line item belongs to my 1, 2, 3 or XYZ sales order number. So here you can see in this search edit of invoice material, we have now given provision of the sales order hyperlink, where user can click on that hyperlink and can be redirected to the sales order as well. HTC code option introduced in export invoice creation. So previously when same item was exported to different countries, it might had different HTS codes for each country. However, OurSys would not allow user to enter different HTS code for the same line item based on the country it was being exported to. So this made the process less flexible, and users couldn't specify the correct HTS code for each destination. Now OurSys has introduced a new feature that asks user to enter the HTS code when creating an export invoice. This code is important for customs because it helps to identify the product being exported and determines the tax and duties that needed to pay. So here in the screen we can see invoice material. Here the HTS code has now been updated, and user can select the HTS code based on their need, based on the countries that they are shipping the material. And if you go on the print custom print, system will show that HTS code. Attribute feature in account ledger report. So OurSys now has provision to add additional field at the account ledger also. So User can specify or store the important data that they want to avail while taking the report through the system. So here you can see under the accounts module, we have now given provision called voucher general ledger bill attribute. Here you can create your own additional field, date, text box, drop down, and etc. And while making a bill wise breakup, you can see attribute option is there to update that detail, additional detail. And this can also be searched in your ledger report as well. Leave application notification is now enhanced. So before, when employee asked for a leave, they had to pick who should be notified about it. Now OurSys automatically sends a notification to the sales manager or the person in the system who we have marked as the supervisor to make the process easier and faster. So here you can see while applying for a leave application, my reporting to officer I have kept as Mr. A Raju. Now, while applying for a leave, system will directly select the user as a Raju and it will notify to that user. Leave management enhanced. So before, when employee requested to leave but he didn't have enough leave balance, their leave application would still get approved. However, the system didn't automatically mark those days as unpaid or absent in the attendance report. As a result, user have to manually update the information, which was time consuming and required extra effort. So now, if a user gets approval for a leave but doesn't have enough leave days available, overseas will automatically mark their leave as either unpaid or absent when updating their attendance. This way, the system handles the situation on its own without needing anyone to do it manually. So here you can see I'm applying for a leave and I don't have any leave balance available with me. So here you can see in the manage attendance system automatically mark that data as a absent, mark that employee as absent for that day. The rental machine option has now been introduced in OurSys for project-based companies along with calendar feature to track the usage of these machines. So OurSys now have a provision, a feature where we have now introduced an option called rental machine in the machine master. So this feature is for the companies that uses their machine at a places like construction site. It also allows user to keep a calendar to track when each machine is being used, where it has been used, making it easier to schedule and ensure the machine are available when they are needed the most. So in the master of the machine, here you can see we have given a provision where you can mark either the machine as a productive machine or a rental machine. Now, when the machine is marked as a rental and you are planning a project, here in the shortcut link we have given provision called equipment schedule. Here you can see that a machine M01 has been scheduled, has been sent at the project site for 2 days. And in the calendar also, you can see that machine M01 for the project M01 has been occupied for 2 days. And you can also update the daily log with that machine allocated. The daily log now indicates an option to specify the team used for the activity. So before the daily log activity hours only recorded the work that has been done by a one person. So the person in charge. If a team worked on an activity, their contribution couldn't be recorded. OurSys now allow users to enter the information about the team while filling out the daily log. So this helps the system to calculate the project cost more accurately by including the salaries of everyone on the team working on the activity. So here you can see in the activity calendar, while updating our log, you can see we have now given an additional field where you can tag your teammates that has been working on a project. Option of unit of measurement introduced in the project activities. So in the past, OurSys only let user to track the project activities based on the hours or days. Now user can choose other unit of measurement also, like kilometer, for the task such as laying pipelines. This make it easier to track the progress more accurately. So in the project template, here we have introduced a provision where you can update the unit of measurement, and while making a project plan you can update the unit of measurement as well. And while updating your daily log, you can update your current log based on that unit of measurement, either by kate, kilometer, etc. In design modification feature, printing option is introduced. So before, user couldn't take print that they have made any kind of changes or modification in the feature. So now OurSys let user to take the print directly from the design modification feature. This make it easier for user to review and share the design changes in the print. So here you can see under the design module there is a link called design modification request, where if you take a print, system will highlight the changes. Prospect customer will not be posted as the ledger in the account. So previously, if you create a customer in the master, system will directly create a accounting ledger of it. Since we have not made any transaction, that it should not be reflected into our financial books. So now if a customer is added as a prospect, so system won't create any accounting ledger of it until and unless it is marked as a customer or any SO sales order has been booked. So here you can see I have made a new customer called prospect ABC and I have kept the type as prospect. Now if I go and search the prospect customer as ABC in the accounts ledger, then no result will come. History of uploads done in the respective transaction in OurSys. So previously, if user has uploaded any document in a transaction, if let's say an example, if a document has been uploaded in a sales order and some user deletes the document, then there was no record of it, making it harder to keep a track of the document. So now in OurSys, we keep a record of a uploaded document in the comment section if any user deletes the document. So here you can see I have uploaded a document and now I am deleting that print. So here you can see in the comment of the transaction, the document name appears as a record. Thank you everyone for your time. See you in the next version update.